The Great Resignation has companies scrambling to fill employee vacancies, and one group that is returning back to work are people that have already retired. Nearly 500,000 people over the age of 55 have rejoined the workforce within the last 6 months alone. Cathy DeWitt Dunn of DeWitt Dunn Financial Services is here with us to explain why this is happening and also what you should keep in mind if this is something that you are considering. So, Cathy, first question, why are we seeing this change?
Wow, that's a great question, and what a great blessing that people are going back to work, because we really need people back in these positions. But we saw last year about 3.3% of people who had retired a year earlier. Now they're going back to work. And why is that? Well, why did they retire in the first place? Well, we had the surplus from the government with those benefits that were paid out. People were retiring because they were worried about the COVID-19 and, were they going to, be affected by that? But now what's happening is that employers are now having to entice employees to come back to work. And we're seeing that everywhere, from whether it's restaurants or big corporate America, there's added benefits. And then one of the other challenges is that we're seeing people who were fully retired, Terrence, and now because of inflation, they're having to look for alternative sources of income, and that may require them going back to work as well.
And what is it about the job market that is enticing for retirees right now?
Well, I think it's the added benefits. We're seeing a lot of companies that are even allowing for 4-day work weeks. A lot of people are doing remote or maybe remote, 2 days and going into the office the other days. But I think one of the biggest things is that the employees really are able to dictate perhaps what they're looking for when it comes to an employer. And the companies are definitely having to compete. And we saw that minimum wage went up by 5.2%. So there's a lot of things that are making it very nice and added features and benefits for employees to go back to work. And thank goodness that's what we need right now.
Yeah, we do. And office life definitely looks a lot different now than it probably ever has. If someone is considering entering the workforce again out of retirement, what are some things that they need to be mindful of?
Well, I think one of the biggest thing is, depending upon your age, you definitely need to make sure and take a look at your taxable situation. If you're receiving Social Security benefits and you're not full retirement age, you may see some penalties on that income, especially if you're looking for alternative sources because of inflation. And then what we also want to see is, if you have retired, there's no limit on any income at your full retirement age, that you could just go out and earn whatever you could find. You don't have to worry about any kind of penalties. But the biggest thing is if you're going to go back to work, you definitely want to still contribute to your retirement accounts. That's for sure. Every single year, it's important to go on to irs.gov and take a look at the tax brackets and how that may impact you, because it always changes. And I'd rather know what my limits are or my maximums are before I file my taxes.
I know a lot of people look forward to getting to that point of retirement, but what would you say are some of the benefits if you do choose to continue working?
Well, number one, income, and that's what we all want to have right now, especially with inflation. And then you take a look at, well, if you'd already applied for Medicare and you're on Medicare, if you go back to an employer, you have the option of having private and healthcare insurance. So you might want to take a look at that. The other thing would also be is, if you are paying for Medicare B and you go back to work and you're going to go on the employer's plan, you want to get rid of that, because that's a cost that you do not need to be paying for right now. And also, make sure, if you're going to bounce back and forth in between private insurance and Medicare insurance, that you understand what you're doing, because it's very complicated and you could end up having to pay additional penalties and fees later down the road, not just today. So it's very important to work with somebody if you're going in between private insurance and healthcare.
Cathy DeWitt Dunn, thank you. Excellent advice. And hopefully this will help a lot of people out there. These are some important decisions to make. That is posted for you on our website, fox4news.com.